And welcome back, students. We're talking about other mobile devices today, smartphones. So let's get started here. Cellular devices, I'm sure you know, are no longer used for calling or texting, but have become fully realized entertainment, research, and business devices by their own right. And most smartphones today support Wi-Fi as well as cellular data networks, so you're not just limited to one or the other. Regardless of what operating system your smartphone uses, they are able to run software components, also known as apps. So let's talk about those apps, shall we? Most basic apps, such as calendars, cameras, web browsers, become pre-installed with the system, while other apps are available for download from places like Google Play or the Apple App Store. Now, apps typically receive bug fixes and gain additional functionality through software updates. Features. Typical smartphones will include one or more of the following sensors. Magnetometer, proximity, barometer, gyroscope, or accelerometer. Keyboarding. There's a little bit here. So in the mid 2000s, it was common for smartphones to have a physical T9 numeric keyboard or even a full QWERTY keyboard in either a candy bar or sliding form factor. So you had the full keys in front of you. However, in early 2007, Apple introduced the iPhone, which was its first smartphone to use a capacitive multi-touch screen. Remember, we talked about capacitive versus resistive screens in our last lesson. Apple's the one really trying to push capacitive screens. Now, the iPhone was notable at the time when it came out for abandoning the use of a stylus, a keyboard, or keypad, typical for smartphones at the time. Like one of the most popular smartphones at the time was the BlackBerry, and the BlackBerry had a physical keyboard. The keys were tiny on it, and so if you wanted to use it, you had to be very careful because they're very small. And what Apple did is they said, well, instead of that, we're going to give a larger touchscreen for direct finger input as the main means of interaction. Now, what has happened is the iPhone and Android phones with their capacitive touchscreens changed smartphone form factors, which led to the decline of other keypad-focused platforms. So the keypad kind of went away and everything went into being on the phone. There's pros and cons of both styles. However, because of the success of Apple and Android coming to meet them, nearly all smartphones today are touchscreen only. You won't find a physical keyboard necessarily. Talk about the display. One of the main characteristics of a smartphone is their screens. It typically fills about 70% of the device's front surface. Some a little bit more, some a little less. However, one thing to know is newer smartphones have most of the available space in the front dedicated in a style which is referred to as edge-to-edge style. So that means your whole front of your phone is pretty much a giant screen. They have like a home button or something like that, but they try to use as much of your surface as possible. Now, a lot of displays have an aspect ratio of 16 to 9, though a few are 4 to 3 or other ratios. 16 to 9 is pretty much the new standard, though, on most displays. Now, smartphones with screens over 4.5 inches commonly are difficult to use with only a single hand. So remember, we're not necessarily talking width or height, we're talking diagonals. This is you start getting to things like the Samsung Galaxy notebook. The note is so large that it's a phablet. Now, some displays are integrated with pressure-sensitive digitizers, allowing users greater precision when drawing. The iPhone is good for this. Accessories, because what's a good phone without an accessory? A wide range of accessories are sold for smartphones, including cases, screen protectors, power charging cables, wireless power solutions, USB on-the-go adapters, add-on batteries, headphones, combined headphones and microphones, and Bluetooth-enabled power speakers. So, obviously that's not everything, and even what I have, it's quite a large list. Now, also you can get cases, as many of you probably do have cases or some kind of case, which range from relative inexpensive rubber or plastic cases, which provide protection from bumps and good protection from scratches, to more expensive heavy-duty cases that combine a rubber padding with a hard outer shell to really help protect the phone. Now, some cases also have a book-like form with a cover that the user opens to use the device, and when you close it, it kind of puts the device to sleep. And also, when that cover is closed, it helps to protect the screen. The battery. Can't talk about phones without battery because smartphone battery life is today generally considered adequate compared to that of earlier smartphone battery life. Now, the reason why early smartphones had such bad battery life was due to weak batteries that could not handle the significant power requirements of the smartphone's computer systems and the color screens. Now, there is a trend, which is one that has its pros and its cons, of using batteries that the user cannot replace. So you're not meant to open up the back of your phone and pull the battery out, which in some ways is good, in some ways is bad. Now, in order to extend talk time, smartphone users can purchase additional chargers for use outside the home, at work, or in cars, and by buying portable external battery packs. Some of you may have one. It's just an extra battery. You hook it up to your phone, and your phone will use that when your main battery gets low. Now, external battery packs include generic models which are connected to the smartphone with a cable, and custom-made models that piggyback onto the smartphone case. Operating systems. Here we go. Android, a mobile operating system owned by Google. This is an open source platform that is an optional proprietary components, including a suite of flagship software for Google services and the application and content storefront for Google Play. Then, of course, you have iOS, which is a proprietary mobile system developed by Apple. And the device introduced numerous design concepts and adopted by modern smartphone platforms. Now, there are, of course, other ones. There's like Windows Phone. You have some other smaller publishers, but those are the main two. Now, let's talk about real quick some drawbacks regarding smartphone usage. Now, there have been several studies done that have linked smartphone usage to several misuse cases of the technology. In 2012, a University of Southern California study, or USC, found that unprotected adolescent sexual activity was more common among owners of smartphones. So it was kind of something that it was a correlation. It's not necessarily a causation, but it is something that they found very interesting. Additionally, a study conducted by the Rasmussen Polytechnic Institute Lighting Research Center concluded that smartphones or any backlit devices can seriously affect sleep cycles. That's why you see devices now with like blue light filters, because the blue light supposedly wavelength is what keeps your brain up. Additionally, some persons might become physiologically attached to smartphones, resulting in anxiety when separated from the devices. And lastly, mobile phone use while driving, which includes talking, texting, playing media, web browsing, gaming, using map apps, or other features of the phone, is a kind of common thing. But it's also controversial since it's considered widely dangerous. Because remember, anytime you have to use your phone for anything, or even if something is with the radio, is distracted driving. So that is our notes for today, folks. Hopefully, it kind of gives you a little bit of a definition of what a computer is. We've kind of talked about different types. After this unit, we shall start diving into those individual components and really start sinking our teeth into what makes up hardware. So until next time.